On December 21, 1978, police officers in Des Plaines, Illinois, placed John Wayne Gacy under arrest. By this point, suspicion had been building for weeks. A 15-year-old boy named Robert Piest had vanished earlier that month. Witnesses reported that Gacy had last been seen speaking with him about a potential construction job. When police questioned Gacy, he denied involvement, but inconsistencies quickly appeared. His timeline didn't align. His explanations shifted, and officers noticed something else: a strong, persistent odor coming from his home. Investigators obtained a search warrant. Inside the house, police began finding items that raised concern. Personal belongings that did not belong to Gacy, clothing that did not match his size, and evidence suggesting multiple individuals had been inside the home under unusual circumstances. As officers continued searching, attention turned to the crawl space beneath the house. What they found there would confirm one of the most disturbing serial murder cases in American history. John Wayne Gacy was not a drifter. He was not isolated. He lived in a quiet neighborhood, surrounded by families, and over several years he had committed repeated murders while maintaining the appearance of an ordinary life. Between 1972 and 1978, John Wayne Gacy murdered at least 33 young men and boys. Most of his victims were teenagers or young adults, many of whom were runaways, students, or seeking temporary work. Gacy often used deception rather than force at first. He would offer employment, assistance, or alcohol. Once inside his home or vehicle, he would gain control through restraint. One recurring method involved trick handcuffs. Gacy would present them as part of a magic trick or joke, then quickly immobilize the victim. From there, he used strangulation. This detail is important for understanding the case, but we will not linger on it. The cause of death was consistent across victims, indicating a repeated, deliberate method. After death, Gacy concealed bodies primarily beneath his house in the crawl space. When space ran out, he disposed of additional victims in nearby rivers. The crimes escalated over time. Early murders were spaced farther apart. Later, they occurred more frequently. This escalation is common in serial offenses and reflects increasing confidence and loss of restraint. Throughout this period, Gacy continued his public life. He attended community events. He socialized. He operated a contracting business. No one reported seeing violence. No one heard screams. The crimes remained hidden through isolation, manipulation, and victims who were often not immediately reported missing. Once Gacy was in custody, police returned to his house with excavation equipment. The crawl space beneath the home was carefully searched over several days. Investigators uncovered 26 bodies buried there. Each discovery confirmed that this was not an isolated crime, but a prolonged series of murders spanning several years. Additional victims were later recovered from the Des Plaines River. Identification took time. Some victims were identified through dental records. Others remained unidentified for decades due to the condition of the remains and lack of missing persons reports. The scale of the discovery shocked law enforcement, not because serial murder was unheard of, but because of how close it had been to everyday life. Children rode bikes past the house. Neighbors held conversations nearby. Life continued above ground. This is often one of the most disturbing aspects of the case, not the violence itself, but the environment in which it was concealed. Following his arrest, John Wayne Gacy gave multiple statements to police. He initially attempted to deny responsibility, then claimed memory loss, and later acknowledged involvement while shifting blame or minimizing intent. Ultimately, the evidence was overwhelming. During trial proceedings in 1980, prosecutors presented physical evidence, witness testimony, and forensic findings. The defense argued that Gacy suffered from mental illness and could not be held fully responsible. Psychiatric experts testified, but the jury concluded that Gacy was legally sane at the time of the murders. He was convicted of 33 counts of murder. The court sentenced him to death. Families of victims attended the trial, hearing details that confirmed the fate of their loved ones after years of uncertainty. The trial lasted weeks. The verdict came swiftly. Justice in this case was procedural, not emotional. John Wayne Gacy spent 14 years on death row. During this time, he gave interviews, produced artwork, and attempted to control his public image. Many of these efforts were later criticized as attempts to manipulate attention rather than accept responsibility. In 1994, after exhausting appeals, Gacy was executed by lethal injection. His final statements did not offer meaningful remorse. For the families of victims, closure was incomplete. Execution does not restore lives. It only ends legal process. In the years since, law enforcement agencies have continued efforts to identify remaining unknown victims using modern forensic techniques. The case remains studied in criminology for its warning signs, investigative failures, and psychological patterns. This is not a story meant to be sensational. It is a case study in deception, access, and unchecked opportunity. The house where the crimes occurred was demolished. The land was cleared. Suburban life resumed. But the case of John Wayne Gacy remains a reminder. Danger does not always announce itself. It can wear familiarity. It can participate. It can hide in routine.